I think the biggest thing that I can pull from when I grew up was the arcades. And it wasn't, it's not your typical Dave and Buster's like it is now, but they had a row in the corner, where nobody was betting, everybody was away. They had arcade games. They had, 12 to 15 arcade games. And there was always a group of us, and we were always playing video games, and it felt like they never switched the arcade games. They didn't have to bring in new arcade games because the arcade games were good. There was Tetris, there was some pinball machines, there was Off-Road, there was Mortal Kombat, there was All Police Bulletin or All Police Blot or APB. There was a couple of there was Rampage. They just had a good, solid, set of video games, and all the kids would go. Now, I know it's tough nowadays because, God forbid, you let your kid out of your sight for more than 30 seconds. They're scared they're going to get, kidnapped or whatever. But it's something simple like an arcade and something for the kids that has the kids having fun also in between races. Because let's be realistic, you can't bring a kid somewhere for 3-4 hours and expect them they're going to be tired. Every kid nowadays has ADD, so give them something. I think what we're going to discover, Jay, is horse racing is not going to be good enough to keep everybody's attention for the entire 3-4 hours that you're there.
Yeah, I mean, that's not just – and it's not just horse racing. I mean, you look at minor league baseball. They don't just rely on solely the baseball to get people there. They, you throw everything on the video board, and you have stuff in between every inning and stuff to just, things that attract your attention. And NFL's teams do it as well. Any break, they have, something going on the boards or on the field that just kind of breaks up the monotony of it. And, I agree with you. When I was a kid at Balmoral, there was a massive little arcade area that, they had every game that you could really want. And kids will watch the races, but they can't watch 10 to 12 races. They're a kid. They can't watch anything 10 to 12 times for 3 hours in a row. They just have the attention span of a goldfish. It doesn't matter what type of thing you're doing. So having video games at Vernon Downs, they have one of those little jumpy castles for the smaller kids, and a little toy area for the really small kids. But you got to have something for all kids' ages. So an arcade that answers a lot of kid ages. From 5 to 15, you're hitting that demographic really easily. The other thing I have is what I liked Balmoral used to do when I was a kid is they had in the grandstand, they had a stall, and they would have a horse or sometimes a mini pony or something there, and they'd have the equipment next to it. And basically they would let, kids, help put a bridle on a horse, or, help, touch his leg and everything like that. Just stuff that would, it's not just watching a race over and over, but it's still kind of horse racing related, and something they'll probably never get to do unless they come to the track.
I like that idea of just simply having a real horse that's in the grandstand that people can go up and
touchable. It's tangible.
I mean,
what kids want.
Yeah, why wouldn't you have? It's like a real life petting zoo almost. And I don't know if you charge people or just have it there for free as part of the emotion and part of the festivities. But I mean, Hambletonian Society did that this year. At the Hambletonian, they had the pony, take your picture with the pony, blah, 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 Ashley Tetrick's pony. And all those pictures made it everywhere on social media. But, I mean, is this something that we could do? I would expect this to be done once a week. Where you have – is the biggest problem going to be that we don't have – everything is such dedicated to slot machines and casinos and stuff like that the kids – are not even featured anymore remotely. I mean, Tioga does. I'm sure Tioga does their Sunday Kids Day and stuff like that. But the rest of the time, there's no things for kids. There's no things for kids at the Meadowlands, at Yonkers, things like that. There's no. It's very special attractions to have kids out there. It just makes me wonder.
I think that there's a fear with tracks. They don't want to market to kids because they don't want to give that feeling to the local people that oppose them and the lawmakers that, hey, we're trying to bring kids in and teach them how to gamble. That's not what they're trying to do. But people spin stories, and I think there's the fear there. but you just have to, toe the line carefully. And people have kids, and they're going to bring their kids everywhere they go. So you have to have something there for them, or you'll never get the people that have kids to come to your track. It's simple as that.
I don't know. To me, that sounds very an easy way to an easy fault, because how many politicians don't have kids? Let's be realistic. They all do. They're all married. They all got kids, or I mean, if you made sure that those politicians knew, okay, when we're having kid night or something like that, invite the politicians. Or have somebody in the office make sure that they come to these kids nights to be like, hey, listen, look, these are good kid nights. These are good things. And I think that if unless they're being lobbied against, that there's no reason. If you put out a good product and you have a good feeling situation, who's going to go against that? Like, what's the downfall if you have if you don't have any festivities and you allow kids in the building? Sure, that's going to look like they're promoting gambling. But if you have an actual event and have events there that make kids happy, show pictures of kids being happy and videos and things like that, how does that go wrong? How is that bad promotion?
No, I totally agree. I just, I've heard the dog and pony show before with, when I was in college and I wanted, Red Mile to, market to college kids more. And then they were putting in the new, half casino instant racing machines. And they're like, well, we really don't want to give off to the government that we're trying to, bring college kids into this and making them addicted to gambling. And I was like, then don't market yourself like that.
Right. Yeah. Then don't. Right.
I was like, you can still bring them here without trying to, say, hey, pump $300 into this machine, kids. Like, there's different ways to, bring people through the doors without making them gamble.
I mean, it's just one of those things. Like, if and it's why we're in the current state that we're in, because for the last 15 years, we haven't marketed zero to kids, right? I mean, there's youth beats. There's a couple of things that are marketed and geared towards kids. But let's be realistic. If you come on Hamiltonian Day, you bring your kids and they have a blast, what other opportunities do you have to bring your kid back to the Meadowlands? What on a normal night is kid-friendly about any racetrack? There's zero. There's nothing there other than when they set up a kids' night. There's no reason for you to go back. Again, going back to when I was a kid, it was an arcade and there was a group of kids there. And even if it was just me, maybe my dad was in the late race or my mom's working late. So, on a Friday night, we're there till, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and most kids are gone. I could still go and play video games by myself. Like, that's what arcades are for. When you're the last one standing. Right now, you can't go to any racetrack and bring your kids and have them be entertained other than if you brought the entertainment yourself, meaning if you brought an iPad for them. So you bring your kids to Hamiltonian Day, they're all excited, they take the picture with the pony, and then what? Then they're gone till next year or till they're grown enough to say, hey, wow, 12 years ago I went to the Hamiltonian. That's it. Yeah,
and I mean, kids' stuff is not very expensive. Some face painting, some little games where they can win something. Just little things that they think is amazing, and they'll remember it. That, as an adult, you go, oh, whatever. But to a kid, getting, the whatever, get your local sports team's logo painted on your face, whatever, a tiger. The kids just love that, and it costs you nothing. It's the cost is not hard to get a kid to enjoy himself at the races. They're very simple creatures.
And we're forgetting what the biggest reason why you market to kids, and that's they are a gold mine for merchandise. So if you had a bunch of kids regularly coming to your track, you can sell a lot of merchandise to those kids because they're the ones that are, mommy, I want a t-shirt. Mommy, I want a horse and pony. Mommy, I want my face painted. Mommy, and then, the parents are going to do that because it pulls on the heartstrings of a parent when their kid, I guess, I don't know, I don't get this feeling. I see little rugrats at work or things like that. I want to trip them. But, parents are like, oh, if my baby boy is having fun, then I'm happy. So that's like what parents say to themselves. So if they want merch, if they want their face painted, if they want to go touch a horse, it's all things it makes the parents want to say, this was a good place and I want to bring them back.
Yeah, I mean, on a kid's night, you have your drivers out there for them to meet. Because the thing about kids is they love autographs, and they don't really care who the autograph is from, as long as you make it seem like it's important. I remember when I was a kid, all the kids would line up to get on the biggest night at Balmoral for Super Night. They get the autograph, and I got to keep this. I got to try and get his whip now. I got to get so instead get his autograph when they walk through the door. And then, that kid watches that guy win a race, and, he's throwing out a whip or whatever, and whether they get it or not important. But when they leave, you're going to have a stand set up with, a shirt for Yannick Gingras, a shirt for Timmy Tetrick. That kid will want that shirt. I will guarantee it. You go to any sport, any TV show, anything like that, if they get a little bit of attachment to, somebody, they want something to represent them. It's simple. The WWE has made a killing off of that simple idea.
I real quick on that numbers, WWE made at WrestleMania, they made $3.7 million in revenue off of merchandise, just merchandise at WrestleMania. That comes to about $57 per person. Again, there were 70,000 people there. So each person there spent $57. Okay. There's no reason why, if we say that people are coming to the Breeders' Crown or Hamiltonian, that each one of those people, if marketed properly, couldn't shell out $50 for merchandise, But it seems like it's just we failed at that. We failed at merchandise. 100% failed at it. So that's another little tidbit. And when people say, "Oh, you can't do it," well, it's plenty of successful business models are out there, and again, we just blatantly ignore them.